And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all very welcome to the July 2021 edition of the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre live on Zoom. This evening we will have the special guest, Cathal McConnell, but we'll hear from him in a little while. Just for anybody who hasn't seen one of these before, whether you're in Facebook land or here in Zoom land, I'll just give a brief rundown of how it's going to work. As you'll notice, all the singers in the chat, you are all muted, and we'll be running this in a one singer, one song format. Effectively, throughout the night, I will go through the group and do my best to get a nice cross section of as many singers as possible. Chances are we won't hear from everybody, but I'll do my very best. I'll try give all the singers a heads up, should I say, in the form of a private message. If for some reason you don't see the private message, please don't be surprised. It's just one of the drawbacks of doing this kind of thing on the internet. I can't give you a wink from across the bar, one thing or another. If we don't get to you, please make an effort to come to us next month and give us a nudge, make it aware that we didn't get to you last month, and we'll make a priority of you next month. And in that fashion, if you were here last month and didn't get to sing, could you just hit the raise your hand button? You'll find that if you go to the bottom of your screen and hit the reactions tab and just hit the raise your hand button, that way we'll know that you were here last month and didn't get a chance to sing, and we'll make a priority of you. As the session goes along, I please encourage everybody to use the chat bar, whether that's in Facebook or in Zoom. Just offer some words of encouragement if you want to discuss the origins of songs, things like that. It's a great place to do it. And we are going to kick us off with three singers. First, we're going to have Alice Farrell Perlman over in New York City. Then we'll have Gavin Byrne down in the sunny southeast today. And we will have Alberta Lathan over in Indiana. So let me get Alice up and queued. Alice, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for the call, Dara. And I'm going to start off with a parody version of a song I've been singing since I was a kid, but I discovered this timely parody for the internet age a couple of years ago, and I really love it. So this is The Frozen Blogger. As I sat down one morning in an internet cafe, a tattooed covered waitress to me these words did say, I see that you are a blogger. Then she added with a smirk, that means you'll sit and play all day, then say you've been at work. My boyfriend was a blogger. All he ever did was type. Then we'd have a meeting once a week if I could get on Skype. He'd buy a mini latte to nurse from 9 to 5. And once an hour he'd stir it with an old worn out thumb drive. He was a cut above all of the other blogger bums. His fingers flew through Facebook as he tweeted with his thumbs. One day he got a brand new Mac, the finest of his kind. But with its expanded memory, he completely lost his mind. He wouldn't eat, he couldn't sleep, he wouldn't take a drink. He only paid attention to the ones who clicked his link. He blogged and blogged without a stop. This went on for a week. I told him he should take a break, but he couldn't hear me speak. For one whole month, he sat there, tapping right along, his body growing weaker, his opinions growing strong. One day I placed upon his desk some root beer in a cup. He put his hand around it, but he couldn't pick it up. Just then he saw that he'd been flamed, and he had a spaz attack. The root beer flew into the air and landed on his Mac. The Macintosh exploded with a mighty crash so loud that his system froze from head to toes, and he flew up to the cloud. So I lost my blogger boyfriend, floating somewhere in the fog, and here I'll wait for someone who will promise not to blog. Today.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alice. I know I left a little note in the chat there. Let nobody tell you that folk songs are old and outdated. We can sing about any
always
eventuality.
Make them new again.
Of course we can. That was fabulous, Alice. Thank you so much. Okay, we will move down to the sunnier southeastern here from Gavin Byrne. Gavin, I will. Oh dear, I keep asking to unmute you, and then you're unmuting yourself. Hold on. Unmute yourself, Gavin. We have you. How are you, Gavin?
How are you, lads? Great to be here again. I'll try a summary one, a short one called Clasp to the Pig, I got from Thomas McCarthy's album Round Top Wagon. Backward and forward, I'm reeling and tight. Oh, 'tis a spree I have been on tonight. I've been to McCarthy's with Patsy O'Mar. We had the black bottle from under the bar. We drank and we drank till we banished all care. We gave not a thought to foul weather or fair. Now here on the floor I'm curled up in a heap. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. I'm clasped to the pig in a loving embrace, the hairs of his curly tail tickling me face. It's no use in telling me he's sober to keep. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. Over my head in the days that are gone, gaily I flourished my knotty blackthorn. And if I but only had it tonight, maybe I wouldn't be off for a fight. And if Pat Murphy I chance for to meet, 'tis an elegant ruction we'll have in the street. He'll soon be glad in a knothole to creep. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. I'm clasped to the pig in a loving embrace, the hairs of his curly tail tickling me face. There's no use in telling me he's sober to keep. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. Drop down by the pig here and share his embrace. Let my red whiskers lie close to your face. The crater won't hurt you, he'll do you no harm. Drop down by me, biddy, and keep me back warm. Oh, squeeze me up tight as you've oft done before. I'll sing you to sleep with the sounds of me snore. The rats and the mice all around us may creep. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. I'm clasped to the pig in a loving embrace, the hairs of his curly tail tickling me face. There's no use in telling me he's sober to keep. Ara lave me to sleep, biddy, lave me to sleep. Ginny. Thanks, Derek.
Fabulous, Gavin. We've all been there, haven't we?
That's for sure.
Great stuff. We shall move her over now to Indiana, to Alberta Lathan. Alberta, I've asked to unmute you. Do we have Alberta? We do. How are you, Alberta?
Hello, I'm fine. It's great to be here. Been a little while, so I was happy to be back and see all those nice faces.
We started to worry, Alberta. We thought it was something we said.
Nah. Well, let's see. I'm gonna. This song I found, earliest music I found is 1897, but back then it was an American song, so somehow it moved over to Ireland. And you'll be glad to know there were a lot more verses originally. So, here we go. Well, I started on a journey just about a year ago to a little town called Morrow in the county of Mayo. I'd never been much of a traveler, so I really didn't know that Morrow was the hardest place I'd ever tried to go. I went down to the station, put my money on the desk, not meaning to cause trouble with my innocent request. I said, my friend, I'd like to go tomorrow and return no later than tomorrow, for I haven't time to burn. The station master looked out of the tiny window pane. His face was red, he scratched his head, he started to explain. You should have gone tomorrow, yesterday, and not today, because the train today, tomorrow is an hour upon its way. If you'd have gone tomorrow, yesterday, now don't you see? Could have gone tomorrow and been back today by 3. But the train today, tomorrow, if the timetable's right, it goes tomorrow and comes back tomorrow night. I said, you must be joking or talking through your hat. Is there a town called Morrow on this line, or is there not? There is, says he, but take from me a quiet little tip. To go from here to Morrow is a 24-hour trip. I want to go tomorrow, why can't I go today? And get tomorrow by tonight if there is no delay. But my friend, he said, I only have one further thing to say. You've talked so long, the trains are gone, so here you'll have to stay.
Fabulous, Alberta. Thanks so much. That was great. And we see you fanning in your window on occasion. I think a lot of Irish people this evening can relate to that. I think it's the hottest day of the year so far. Great to have you. Okay. The next singer I would like to sing, I messaged, but I'm not sure if he saw it. Declan Coyne, I can see you there huddling away. We'd love to get a song from you if you would oblige us. I've asked to unmute you. Let's see.
Unmute.
Haha. How's all in Roscommon?
Oh, not too bad at all. The hottest county in the country.
Yeah, and in more ways than one, Declan.
You're never caught for a word. Yeah. Roscommon, we had an infamous lady residing in Roscommon back in the late 1700s. She made quite a name for herself. She was known as Lady Betty, or the woman from hell. And I'm going to sing you a little song I wrote about her.
Fabulous.
If that's all right. I tried to put a human face on her. She was the famous hangwoman of Roscommon jail. But I tried to put a kind of a human face on her. Betty Sue Grew, she came from the kingdom of Kerry, evicted and homeless when her poor husband died. She took to the roads o'er hills and o'er valleys, reposing at night time in ditches and dikes. With 2 children in tow, her travails were not easy. Cold, hunger and sickness they oft times did strike. But her will it was strong, and she was determined, come hell or high water, to make a new life. She strode in one day to the town of Roscommon, and up the main street with one child by the hand. Her youngest, God rest him, had died from the hunger as she journeyed with hardship o'er this hostile land. They went into an inn where they begged for their supper. The madam took pity and inquired of their plight. She took them to a hovel, 'twas down a dark lane way, and she gave them a blanket, kept them warm for the night. Now Betty she thought of the kindness was shown her. She cradled young Podrick up tight in her arms. 'Tis here we will settle and make a new life, son, and someday you'll grow to a handsome young man. So time it went by. The boy is a man now. He remembers the hunger, the hardship and cold. With dreams of a good life, exploits and adventure, he boarded a ship bound for the new world. Many years have passed over. Betty's all alone now. She dreams of her children, life's journey, her strife. The days they grow longer, her heart grows more bitter. She longs for some comfort to ease her sad life. Then one stormy night in the month of November, a tall bearded stranger, he knocked on her door. There's no room at the inn, ma'am. I'm cold, wet and hungry. I'll pay you good money for bed and for board. He gives her a gold coin to go get some victuals. She senses he's wealthy, for his purse is not light. She runs to the store, makes him a fine supper, and offers the stranger her bed for the night. She sits by the fireside, her mind is tormented. Thoughts of the gold coins near drive her insane. She paces the floor, sees a knife on the dresser, and in a moment of madness, the stranger is slain. Elation with her bounty, it soon dissipated. As she foraged his pockets, some letters she found. In Podrick's handwriting, and addressed to his mother, she cursed and she bawled, "'Tis my own flesh and blood." In pain and in anguish, she rushed out 'neath the night sky, and tearing her hair, there her fate it was dealt. Arrested for murder, to the jail she was taken, and her trial it was held, and her sentence was death. On the day of the hanging, with 11 white boys, she's led to the gallows all bound up in chains. But no hangman awaited, the sheriff he panics, with the crowd growing restless, he wanders in vain. Then Betty pipes up, "If it saves me own life, sir, those 11 poachers, I'll drop them with scorn." So freed from her shackles, she took charge of the rope, and the legend of Bold Lady Betty was born. Her reward 'twas a garden, employment and wages, for floggings and hangings in the jail she did dwell. She attended her duties with skill and devotion, gaining repute as the woman from hell. She lived out her life in comparative comfort, no threat of eviction, no hunger, no strife. And her name it lives on in the town of Roscommon, with stories and legend of a hangwoman's life. There you are now.
Fabulous, Declan. Thanks so much. No, you're knocking out the original songs. No, please keep record of them. I'd love to get the lyrics of some of them sometime. That's really, really great.
Thanks, Dara.
No worries. Okay.
Right.
The next singer I messaged was Michael O'Leary. I'm not sure if he saw the message. Judging by the look on his face, I don't think he did. I'll ask to unmute you, Michael.
Right.
We have you.
Okay, sorry. Wasn't paying attention. So I'm going to do a song that I got indirectly from Cathal, and I actually heard it sung years ago at a festival south of Boston, and they had a humorous song set. And I think it was Deirdre Scanlon who sang this. And then I later discovered it on the Hidden Fermanagh, wonderful collection, sung by Cathal and his brother Mickey. I'm sure a bunch of you know it, and I can't resist singing it. I haven't sung it in forever, so here we go. Two brothers bold named Pat and Mick, who came from Derry Lynn. They had a darling springing cow that they called Mary Jane. But hay was scarce and cash was scarce, and both their suits threadbare. Aye, so Mary Jane, she had to be sold at Ballyconnell fair. Skiddery idle da diddly dee, da diddly idle Now the morning of the fair arrived with shocking fog and mist. It came rolling down the hills of Doon, you couldn't see your fist. Says Pat to Mick, I'll walk in front, and you bring up the rear. I with Mary Jane betwixt us both, to Ballyconnell fair. Skiddery idle da diddly dee, da diddly idle Now at Gortery, well, Mary Jane, she played an awful trick. She slipped into a side road there, unknown to Pat and Mick. She had a feed from Drum's haystack, and then she made her lair. Aye, well, Pat and Mick, they welted on to Ballyconnell fair. Skiddery idle da diddly dee, da diddly idle They reached the green at 8:30, approaching to daylight. The fog it lifted all at once, the drovers hove in sight. Says Pat to Mick, where's Mary Jane? I can't see her nowhere. Aye, by holy Christ, 'twas me a drove to Ballyconnell fair. Skiddery idle da diddly dee, da diddly idle Now both men's dead. Now both men's gone, now rest their souls, but still the story's told. Around the fires of Derry Lynn, enjoyed by young and old. And children ask when going to bed and dashing up the stair, was it Pat drove Mick or Mick drove Pat to Ballyconnell fair? Skiddery idle da diddly dee, da diddly idle
Up for mana. Fabulous stuff, Michael. Thanks so much. No,
Thank you.
Cathal has written in the chat. He said, "That's my dad's song. Great to hear it." I don't know many people would expect to hear such small from Fermanagh townlands all the way across the Atlantic, but great to hear it nonetheless.
That's great.
Okay. Up next we have Anne Reekie in Bonnie, Scotland. Anne, I'm going to ask to unmute you. You have to accept my unmuting. There we go. How are you, Anne?
Thank you. I'll sing a song. It's from Dundee. I was born just across the river in Wormit, the River Tay. It's about a couple meeting up. Where was I? Last year at Lady Mary Fair, and I was in Dundee. I met an old sweetheart, and he been on a spree. His company I did accept, and with him I did go. All to my sad misfortune, for it proved my overthrow. We wandered east, we wandered west, we wandered in the law. He said he'd take me in that next, but him I never saw. He kept beside me all resolved to have his will. And by, we lost our way up the back o' Rita's hill. For when we got to Rita's hill, this laddie said to me, we can't go home tonight, my dear. It's far out late, you see. But the night is warm, and in my pouch I hear another chill. So let us lay down here content at the back of Rita's hill. We had another nip of peace to quieten our alarms. When I awoke in the morning, we were locked in each other's arms. He handed me the bottle, another glass to fill, and I drank his health and stored wealth at the back of Rita's hill. And then the lad, he said to me, oh lassie, dinna mourn, for while I hae the breath of life free ye, I'll never turn. If you will come to yonder tune, my wedded wife you'll be, and will be the happiest couple yet. 'Twas ever in Dundee. So may I never prosper, and may I never thrive in anything I take in hand, as long as I'm alive. If there I sin, I rue the day my laddie had his will. Success to Lady Mary Day on the back o' Rita's hill.
Good stuff. And when you came on, I wasn't sure if I had seen you before on these calls, but after singing that well, I don't think I'll be forgetting you in a rush. That was really, really fabulous. Thank you so much. Okay. Next up we will have, well, I sent her a message. Let's hope she saw it. Deirdre Bialo Payden. I'll ask to unmute you. I sent you a message.
I was sawing. Hang on one second.
Take not your eyes from the chat bar. No, it's fascinating, Deirdre. I have in one screen. I have you. You say what are you doing? You're sawing.
I'm sawing metal.
Fabulous. It looked almost as though you were knitting from my angle. And on the other side of my screen, I see Alice knitting. And in my imagination, the pair of you are working on like the same sweater or something. You're both just knitting two ends of it. But anyway, sorry to catch you on the hop.
Well, I think I can handle it. I'm going to do a version of the House Carpenter.
Fabulous.
Well met, my own true love. Well met, right ye. I've just returned from the salt sea, all for the love of thee. Oh, where have you been, my long lost love? These 7 long years or more, I've been seeking for gold for thee, my love, and riches of great store. Oh, I could have married the king's daughter dear, and she would have married me, but I refused her chain crown of gold, all for the love of thee. If you could have married the king's daughter dear, I'm sure you are to blame, for I have married the house carpenter, and he is a fine young man. If you forsake your house carpenter and come along with me, I'll show you where the grass grows green on the banks of sweet Sicily. If I forsake my house carpenter and come away with thee, what have you got to maintain me upon and keep me from slavery? I've 7 ships sailing on the salt, salt sea. The 8th brought me to dry land, and I've 24 bold mariners to me at thy command. I've got thunder in the background. It's appropriate for this. Well, she picked up her tender little babe, and kisses gave him 3, saying, stay right here with the house carpenter and keep him good company. She dressed herself in scarlet red, her shoes of bottle green, and every town that she walked through, she shone like the glittering gold. She set her foot upon his ship, no mariners could she behold. The sails were of the shining silk, the masts were of beaten gold. They had not been at soup. They had not been at sea 2 weeks or more. I'm sure it was not 3 when this poor maid began to weep, and she wept most bitterly. Oh, do you weep for your gold, he said. Your house is your land or your store. Or do you weep for the house carpenter that you ne'er shall see no more? I do not weep for my house carpenter. My house is my land or my store, but I do weep for my own wee babe that I ne'er shall see no more. Oh, hold your tongue, my love, he cried. Why weep so mournfully? I said I would show you where the grass grows green on the banks of sweet Sicily. I said I would show you the lilies grow on the banks of sweet Sicily. But now I'll show you where the fish do swim at the bottom of the deep blue sea. A couple more verses and then my voice will go. And as she turned herself around, so tall and tall grew he, until the tops of that gallant ship no taller were than he. And he struck the topmast with his hand, the mainmast with his knee, and he broke that shining ship in two and sank it to the bottom of the sea. Oh, well.
Fabulous stuff, Deirdre. You know, I've heard a lot of great singers in these calls, but no one that can control controlled the weather to thunderclap at the exact right dramatic moment. That was
It
pretty
was the
impressive, I have to say.
song, not me.
Great stuff. Okay, next we shall go over to Mr. Porrick King. Porrick, give me 1 second. I'll unmute you, or ask to unmute you. We have you. Porrick, how are you?
Good, Michael, thank you. You caught me in the hop there now, but anyway. I know I sang this song recently at a session. If it was this one, well, I apologize, but I'm going to sing it again anyway.
No stress.
Oh, the night is fading fast, and I'm dreaming of the past as I sit here with my darling by my side. She's an old and feeble dame, but I love her just the same. As that sunny day she came to be my bride. I think I see her now, with a smile upon her brow, as she vowed that she'd be mine forevermore. I'd no land or pastures wide, still I took her home with pride to my cottage with the roses round the door. Light-hearted I did toil, and I found the grateful soil gave me back for my work 100-fold. If I'd enough and I could spare for the poor a tiny share, then I'd envy not the planter or his gold. But we had to bear a grief, resignation brought relief. It was hard until the bitterness was o'er, for we both were sorely tried when our little darling died in the cottage with the roses round the door. We will simply journey on, though our boys and girls have gone to the city mid the bustle and the strife. They have left us here alone in this cottage, and that's our home, where patiently we wait the close of life. Still together o'er and o'er, some sweet stories we recall of the dear little one who's gone before. We are happy, though we know that soon we too must go from this cottage with the roses round the door. Sinead.
Fabulous. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move across the Atlantic now and get a song from David Ingerson. David, give me 1 second. I'll get you set up here. Ask to unmute. David Ingerson, how are you?
Sorry, I'm great, except I'm hitting the unmute button while you're asking me to hit the confirm button.
These are the hurdles we're willing to go over to hear you sing, David. Don't you worry.
Well, thanks so much. Sorry to be late too. Anyway, since thankfully the height of the marching season passed by peacefully, at least as far as I have heard. But here's a song to match the season by Robbie McConnell, and you probably know which one I'm going to sing. I met her on a far Greek isle, our accents Irish, a glance, a smile. This girl I could not love at home, I loved in Greece and later Rome. And all through France and the dust of Spain, Christ, I'll never love like that again. All through that long grape picking summer, now she's the wife of a Lambic drummer. She touched my cheek in Brittany, what a shame you're Mick, not Sam, said she, or Stuart, Cecil, Ian or Rob, Billy, Nigel, Jack or Bob. You're lost inside some Fenian dream. You long for things that might have been. But let's not waste what's left of summer before I wed my Lambic drummer. Sometimes I'd watch her while she'd sleep in firelight soft or shadows deep, and wonder how a Cupid's dart must miss the mind to wound the heart. And I knew it all too soon would end, two hearts not lost, just out on lend. And one day I'd reclaim mine from her and set hers free for her Lambic drummer. We wandered a deserted beach. Though I held her hand, she was out of reach. Side by side, but both alone, as we thought about the news from home. And I knew 'twas time for letting go of the sweet and most beloved foe. For her ears were tuned to a tribal thunder that called her home to her Lambic drummer. In a drab Dutch town, we said goodbye. I had to hitch, she chose to fly. 'Twas only when she turned to go that I told her what she had to know. That had she been Mary, Bridge, or Kate, we'd have walked together through that airport gate, and I'd never more be parted from her by time or tide or a Lambic drummer. I watched the Orange 12th parade. I was half impressed and half dismayed. And there I saw the girl I loved, all hatted, sashed, be-medaled, gloved. She was just as lovely as she'd been when she was orange and I was green. And her love outblazed a Spanish summer that's squandered now on a Lambic bag drummer. But had she been Mary, Bridge, or Kate, we'd have walked together through that airport gate, and I'd never more be parted from her by time or tide or a lamb bag drummer.
Fabulous rendition, David. Thanks so much. It's a stirring song, and you do a wonderful version of it. Thanks so much for that. It was really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think, dear God, I think I got distracted during that, and I did not elect our next singer. But we have a consummate professional here in Lynn Phipps, who might, if we're lucky, delight us with the next song. Lynn, I'm going to ask to unmute you.
Unmute. Thanks, Dara. Always a huge pleasure. Excuse me, have a glass of water.
Take your time. It was my fault.
Thank you. It's always a huge pleasure to sing for you. And it's nice to follow you, David. Okay, Maha. In fact, I've just been singing across the pond on a shanty sing, so it's nice to have across the pond over here. Can I sing one for you, Dara? A Luwak song, which I really love. Kjolan Bata, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one I've been organizing a transatlantic group singing lyrics. This is one we've been learning, and it's from the singing of Sheehan, who got it from Ailey Mackenzie, who got it from Kate Ruag from US. And so it basically talks about my love being the skipper of a boat, bringing precious cargo of gold and silver, and I would like to lie with him in a lovely boat with a pillow. And it's obviously an old song because the pillow was something special in those days. We wouldn't remark upon a pillow these days. Okay. Yalambata farisha no eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo skipper ara yarav morun eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Fenem yechul mialach eshus eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Skars na light shenyen na hu eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Yolambata farishohis eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Valuch ora anianandas eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Dogoyarak stogeragatanari eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Hamolanan savonoton eho hiyo haririna haran eho hiyo Rima nach Chicago, eho hiyo, haririna horo, eho hiyo, o sang ru ta lion go chown, eho hiyo, haririna horo, eho hiyo, o sang bua ta yeren gun veng, eho hiyo, haririna horo, eho hiyo, le piria voklosak for kion, eho hiyo, haririna horo, eho hiyo, haririna horo, eho hiyo. Shine, one and time. Thank you.
Oh, fabulous, Lynn. Always, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Okay, we shall move over now to Ulster and get a song from the wonderful Kate Crossan. Kate, I'm going to ask to unmute you.
Okay.
How are you, Kate?
Hi, yes. Hi, great. Very hot.
Can say that again.
She's roasting here altogether. I was just up in Kildare there, and in the water with my sister, and I'm kind of like slightly. If I'm the same colour as this couch, don't be alarmed. And I just remember in a really special night actually we had up there with Cathal, and I think it was with the McGrory family and all, and it was a great night altogether, and we had great singing afterwards, and John Molden was there, and a few others. So Cal, it just always a pleasure to hear him at any time. So had to get out of the water to come and hear Cal sing tonight.
Fabulous.
So I'll sing a song from where I was raised, a place called Randallstown. From the sweet county Antrim I am lately come down to view that fair village that they call Randallstown, where the waters run clearly and everything's nice. It reminds me of Eden or some paradise. I mounted on horseback a few miles for to ride, till I came to a cottage near Cow's waterside. Says I to myself, in this cottage there might be a maid neat and handsome, and she might like me. So I says, my pretty Bessie, if you will come with me to the fair town of Antrim, where it's married we will be. Your friends and relations, they won't run you down, for the leaving of Kel's water and fair Randall's time. Your offer is good, sure I cannot deny, but to further the acquaintance I cannot comply. Do you not think it might be a slight on my mind to leave sweet Cow's water and fair hearts behind? To the sweet Ballyboland, my love you I will bring, where the blackbird does whistle and the nightingale does sing, where the lark and the linnet they would all join so sweet, and they'd all join in a chorus, and they'd sing you to sleep. Ah, come Ivan, my bonny wee laddie, sure it's now I've changed my mind, and to go and get married, my heart feels so inclined. We'll bid friends and relations our last fond adieu. I'll go home to my parents and tell them I will follow you. For the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she sings as she flies. She brings us glad tidings, and she tells us no lies, and she drinks the Kel's water all to keep her voice clear, and she only sings cuckoo in the spring of the year.
Fabulous, Kate. Jesus, if you keep singing that well, I'd recommend a dose of sun every day. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks so much.
Cheers, thanks.
No worries. Okay, back over to New York City. And we're going to get a song from Chris Carpenter, or sorry, Brooklyn, I should say. Not quite New York. Not New York, but Brooklyn. The real borough, as I'm told.
Well, actually, Brooklyn is in New York City. It's
Right.
sort of like a borough. But it's a common mistake, so no worries. I'm going to do a song that I learned over 20 years ago. I was at Willie Clancy Week, and I met Cathal McConnell the Sunday after the big Saturday night concert at Kelly's on Main Street in Milltown, Malbay. And I introduced myself, and I told him how much I loved the song that he had done the night before, and would you tell me, Cathal, where I could find that song? And Cathal says to me, he says, buy me a pint and I'll give it to you. So I bought the man a pint, and for the next 45 minutes, this most generous man sat over a pint of stout and taught me this song and gave me all the notes and remonstrated with me on how it should be sung. And I will be forever grateful to him for that great generosity. This is a song by Alan Bell. It's called Here's to You, or The Parting Glass. When first we met, complete awkward strangers, we did not know if we could be friends, and how soon we came for to know each other, and now I know we will meet again. So here's to you and our time together. I will share with you a parting glass, and I'll bid adieu with some smiles and laughter. Our time apart will be short and pass. We talked of dreams and of new tomorrows, of yesterday and its dark despair. We have had our share of joy and sorrow, and now we part as friends who care. So here's to you and our time together. I will share with you a parting glass, and I'll bid adieu with some smiles and laughter. Our time apart will be short and pass. A long, long road will it lie before us, and fate will meet me where it will, and through the valleys and over mountains I will not forget, but remember you still. So here's to you and our time together. I will share with you a parting glass, and I'll bid adieu with some smiles and laughter. Our time apart will be short and pass. Thank you, Cathal. I don't know if you remember. But it was you taught me that song, and I'm still singing it. So
fabulous. Okay, so we will have one more song before we move on to the main attraction, and who better to get that from than Rita Galler. Rita, I'm going to ask to unmute you. We have you. How are you, Rita?
I'm very best, Dara. How are you?
Not too bad at all. A little sticky, if that's not too much information. But beyond that, I'm fine.
Thanks for asking me. I'm going to sing The Mountain Streams.
Fabulous.
It's a blast from the past. With my dog and gone through yon blooming heather, for recreation I chanced to stray, where I beheld there a charming fair one, and she enticed me a while to stay. I said, my charmer, I find I love you. Tell me your name and your dwelling also. Excuse my name and you'll find my dwelling near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. Come to my arms, my charm and fair one. Don't contemplate love nor be afraid. I am doomed to love you, so don't be cruel. For I'll prove constant to you, fair maid. And it's hand in hand we will walk together, and I'll escort you to yon plains below, where the larks alarum their notes to charum, near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. And it's many's the night I have roamed for pleasure, to meet my darling on yon moorland dell, with a sighing and sobbing and love bewailing. For now I've lost her through stupid shame. Young man, she said, I am going to tell you your former folly you must give. If my parents knew that I'd marry a rambler, it's deep affliction I would undergo. I said, my dear, if you were a rover, my former rakings I would leave aside. Here is my hand, and I pledge my honor, and if you'll prove constant, I'll make you my bride. For I'm happy here, though I could have been married. These 3 long years I are something more to one superior and far more dearer, near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. So 'tis farewell, darling, for now I must leave you, no more to meet you
moorland dell, with a sighing and sobbing and love bewailing. So now come listen to my lovesick tale, for I've travelled England, I've travelled Ireland, I have travelled Scotland, o'er and o'er. May the heavens above protect my darling, near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. Thanks, Sarah.
Mighty, mighty stuff, Rita, and I would expect no less at this stage. Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, we shall move on to La Pièce de Résistance. The wonderful Cathal McConnell has been a stalwart of the Irish singing tradition and a fabulous flute and whistle player also for many, many decades at this stage. And it is my great pleasure that he agreed to join us for this evening. Cathal, I'm going to ask to unmute you. You might have Deirdre confirm that for you there. We should also say a huge thanks to Deirdre Nivahuna, who has assisted for the evening and gotten Cathal fed and watered and primed and ready in front of the camera. Hello, everyone. How's everyone?
Hello, how are you? I'd like to say thanks to Rita for singing that version of the Mountain Streams of the Moorcock Crows, which I think Len Graham and myself, we recorded it from the late Paddy and Jimmy Halpin in Newtown, Butler, a long time ago, way back in the 70s. And well done, Rita. It's great to hear you. You're a fine singer. And anyway, I'm going to start off with a song. Originally, I done a collection of songs for the archive way back about 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago. And it was called The Blind Beggar's Daughter, which is an English song, I believe. And I learned it and I liked it. And I got it from a program that Padraig Houlihan done, Reels of Memory, way back, by a man called, God, I'm trying to think. He was, oh God, I can't think now.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Anyway, but Brian Mullen gave me another version of it, and it's an Irish version, and it's more full version of this song, and it goes like this. And it's called The Blind Beggar from St. Columbia's Wells. And Columbia's Wells is in Derry, and it's quite a famous venue apparently, and it's where Jim Reeves, the country singer, toured almost 60 years ago. And it goes like this. I'll give it a shot now. Here it goes. Hold on a second, I'll take a wee key here. There was a blind beggar from St. Columbia's Wells. He had but one daughter, the truth I will tell. She was neat and well featured in every degree, and the name that he called her was his bonny Betsy. Now it was early one morning that young Betsy arose, and she says to her father, I must get some new clothes, for to go seek my fortune where'er it may be. And a favour was granted to young bonny Betsy. Now the first to court Betsy was a farmer so grand. He came to court Betsy both early and late. My lands and my riches I'll resign unto thee, if you'll tell me your father's name, my bonny Betsy. Now the next to court Betsy was a captain so gay. He came to court Betsy by night and by day. All my ships on the ocean I'll resign unto thee, if you'll tell me your father's name, my bonny Betsy. Now the last to court Betsy was a squire so bright. He came to court Betsy by day and by night. All my pens and my papers I resign unto thee, if you'll tell me your father's name, my bonny Betsy. Now my father is as fine a man that e'er wore a shoe, and how you will know him I'll tell unto you. He is led by a dog with a chain and a bell, and he's called a blind beggar from St. Columbia's Wells. Then up spoke the farmer, it's her I won't take. Then next spoke the captain, it's her I'll forsake. Then up spoke the squire, she's the one girl for me. You're 1,000 times welcome, my bonny Betsy. It was then a blind beggar, he stood in the door, saying, don't slight my daughter, because she is poor. And although she's not dressed up in diamonds and pearls, I will clothe her in spangles, she's my bonny brown girl. Now he clothed her in spangles till they reached to the ground. He clothed her in spangles, cost £10,000. 'Twas then the young squire, he laid down all his store, and then the blind beggar he laid down 10,000 more. So now this young squire, he took her by the hand, and he placed on her finger a fine golden band. They went to the church and rang out the bells for the blind beggar's daughter from Columbia's Wells. And I have to thank Brian Mullen from Derry for giving me that version of the song. Thank you, Brian. I hope you're listening. Well, I'll carry on now. A song which I got from my father. It's a little thatched cabin. And I remember going over, it's the first time I travelled over overseas to Liverpool in 1966. That's a long time ago now. And along with me was the late Lear Olson and his wife and their daughter, Helena Olson. And we performed in Liverpool. And what can I say? It was a lovely experience. I was a very excited man. And I sung this particular song, and people were very emotional. The song mightn't sound kind of strange to you now, but people at that time who left Ireland probably 40 or 50 years before, the sentiments of the song hit them strongly, because it mentions ploughing and mowing in the meadow and all that sort of type of stuff, and mowing hay and all that sort of type of thing, which doesn't really much happen now. And then I'll follow up with a song called Mary from Maru, which I learned from two singers called Packy and Seamus McBride, and from County Fermanagh, Mulla Herb and County Fermanagh. And it's called Mary from Maru. So here it goes.
Have a drink before you take it. Yeah, you're a bit warm still.
I'll have a drink or something. And here it goes. Right well, I remember that little thatched cabin where I first saw the light of my life's early morn. It stands on a hillside in view of a village, and in that same cabin my father was born. 'Twas there that I started on life's cruel journey, learned the beauty of right and the error of wrong. It was there that I first drove the cows to the meadow, a barefooted boy, as I heard the bird song. And I go where I may, as through life I may wander, I never can find it in palace or hall, a home half so dear to my heart as that old house, as that little thatched cabin, the best home of all. I ploughed for my father, I mowed in the meadow, cut turf in the bog on a long summer's day, when a lark in the heavens its sweet notes which are new, it helped to drive dull care and worry away. It's oft times I think back on days of my childhood. I look back on youth with a heartbreaking pain. I give all I had in all my life's possessions. If I could live over my childhood again. In God rest my father, and God rest my mother. Then I'll take their last sleep by the old churchyard wall. In my dreams, I can still see them smiling and happy in that little thatched cabin, the best home of all. And as go where I may, as through life I may wander, I never can find it in palace or hall, a home half so dear to my heart as that old house, as that little thatched cabin, the best home of all. If I were at home in sweet Rathmore, I'd take me pen and write, and I'd write to my dear Mary, for she's my heart's delight. 'Twas in her father's garden a bunch of wildflowers grew, when first I came to court this dame, my Mary from Maru. We went along to a gather, till we came to a boiling well, and sat down on its sheltered banks till night around us fell. Dark and dreary were the hours that passed between us two. 3 times I kissed her ruby lips, my Mary from Maru. We went along together till we came to a painted gate. Go home, my Mary, and don't stop out too late. For if God would only prosper me, your footsteps I'd pursue, and in spite of your rich parents, I'd court you by Maru. Well, right well, I remember Mary at the cross below the forge. 'Twas there that I first met you, and you coming down the road. Alas, alas, these words did pass, and your mother came into view, and I had to quit behind the smith with my Mary from Maru. Well, if I had all the treasure Lord Inmore has in store, or all the earthly treasure that lies in sweet Rathmore, 'tis them I would bestow upon the girl I had in view, for to spend my life with you, Mary, in your cottage by Maru. Mary from Maru. Now, I'm going to sing, yeah, one of my...
Have another drink, Cathal. I'm getting a bit fast.
What do you suggest? Deirdre?
You have your plan, don't you? Are you happy?
Yeah. I'm going to sing one of my dad's songs. My dad was a singer, and it was interesting. He influenced us all, and was my brother Mickey, and my late brother Sean, and my older brother Carrick. And
Cathal, project your voice a bit.
eh?
Project your voice a bit. Keep it quiet.
My older brother Cormac, and Sean, my late brother Sean, and Mickey, of course. And my dad composed some songs as well. Composed the words, he just put them to well-known tunes. And it was nice to hear the Ballyconnell Fair earlier on. That was lovely. And one of Mickey's songs, The Lambeg Drummer. And but this is one song that my father composed a lifetime ago, because my dad died way back in 1974. So, and it's just a humorous song, and it's called The Second-Hand Trousers I Bought in Balcoo. And I just sing it. It just goes like this. And it goes like this. There are stories afloat that are hard to believe. There are stories afloat that are meant to deceive. But here is a story that's perfectly true about the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo, about the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. You can join in the chorus if you want. There are stories afloat that are hard to believe. There are stories afloat that are meant to deceive. But here is a story that's perfectly true about the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo, about the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Now the missus was sick, I gave Jimmy the job. And when he was 11, I gave him 10 bob. He bought me these yokers, and he hoped they would do. There are a pack of devils up there in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo. There are a pack of devils up there in Balcoo. When the wife saw the trousers, she flew in a rage, saying, "I know we're at all for a man of your age, with one leg so black and the other so blue, had a drop of child's bottle up there in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo, had a drop of child's bottle up there in Balcoo." Well, I raced from the kitchen out into the yard. When my young doggy saw me, he nearly went mad. Oh! The hens flew like blazes, the oldest of crew, at the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo, at the second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Well, that evening 2 ladies arrived in a car. They said, "We're collecting for the Arnie Bazaar." I gave them a parcel and Ed said, "Thank you." There was a second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo. 'Twas a second-hand trousers I bought in Balcoo. Now, at the bazaar, so we all had great fun when the trousers went up and the rickety spun. In a match for tickets, I only got 2, but I won back the trousers I bought in Balcoo. Tra-la-la, tra-la-loo, but I won back the trousers I bought in Balcoo. That's my that song.
Ho ho! Fabulous,
Thank you.
fabulous stuff at Up for Mana. And don't worry, ladies and gents, there is much more where that come from. We're going to hear from Cathal in a little under an hour's time again, but we'll take just 10 minutes now, and everyone can, I'll give you the ability to unmute yourselves and have a bit of a chat. But beyond that, we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was brilliant, Carl. Fair play.
It's tough, to be honest, that's hard.
Dara,
Yes,
are you still there? You are.
I am
How
indeed.
How did your American experience go?
Oh, that's next week.
Oh, is it next week?
It is.
Oh, God, I thought it's this week gone by.
Yeah, 18th to the 23rd, as far as I know. Yeah, so starting tomorrow.
Okay.
Where are you going to be, Dara?
Good luck with it.
It's sort of half speak. I'll be taking part in a Zoom event for an American week. So it's I'll be in Ireland, but virtually in the United States.
What's the event?
I love
It's
I
called
Okay, you talk about it.
it's called Mad Week. They're MAD. I can't remember what it stands for. I think it's just Music and Dance Week, maybe. But it's a cultist branch in Washington D.C. who have a like a week that they normally have, in person for teaching and stuff like that. But they're doing it online this year. So I'll be just running some sessions through the week. Yeah, I'll post some links in the chat here about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they having singing events at it?
Oh yes, I forgot. Everybody should sign up. Brisa Gallagher is teaching a class. Yes, they're having a couple of they're having a couple of having a couple of sessions through the week. Yeah, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Ah, lovely.
Run painstakingly by yours truly.
That's some good folks there, Dara. You'll enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good crack. And thanks again for putting me onto them, Declan.
You took me out of a spot. I thought it's this week, though. Yeah.
Yeah, starting tomorrow anyway. Yep.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what Deirdre is making.
I'm making hairpins right now and shawl pins.
Hairpins and what?
Shawl pins.
And what are the hairpins made of, Deirdre?
Nickel, silver, bronze, and brass.
There you go.
Can you hold one up?
Let's see. I'm looking for
How about that?
So it's just I make a lot of different things. This is what I'm doing right now.
We should probably. Michael, are you going to any sessions, any actual live sessions in New York?
Which Michael?
Michael O'Leary.
Oh, I actually live in northeast of Boston.
Oh,
in,
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, in Cape Ann, Gloucester, Massachusetts. And I don't know if there's any live sessions yet, but what I do in the summertime, which I've been able to revive, is I host these Celtic music sails on a schooner, sailing schooner in
That's great.
in Gloucester Harbor, and we've been able to get 2 of those, and 2 of them got rained out, and we've been able to get 2. We're supposed to have one tomorrow. That it's iffy with the weather, but it's just been so great to be able to do that again. Yeah, it's basically a session. We have a session on deck. I call it crack on deck.
How many people?
I'll have 8 to 10 musicians, and then there's 40 passengers. So it's a 65-foot schooner, and maybe I'll change my cover photo in the meantime to pop it up there so you can see it. It's just gorgeous.
Love to.
Yeah.
If we were there, we'd be there.
Well, I've invited people to come over. Like, if you get over here, look me up. And I also host sessions, co-host sessions that are kind of half songs and half tunes with some friends, and we're hoping to revive those, come fall. They kind of alternate Sundays, one place and another. So
Wonderful.
where do you live?
We live in Indianapolis.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we used to have 3 sessions, but 2 of them did not survive the COVID. Unfortunately, the pubs were in too bad a shape. So, they say they haven't exactly said no, but, it's probably, they lost enough business that year that,
Right. Yeah.
we don't know. So
Yeah.
down to 1.
Right.
It's snug.
I know, actually, there is a big session that I started up here. It's down in North Reading on Saturdays. It's basically a tune session, but as soon as Massachusetts opened up, I noticed that Saturday I was seeing photos on Facebook of people sitting in on that session again. So they wasted no time. So.
Well, it's hard to wear a mask when you play the flute.
Yeah. So these sessions in Ireland have been just a godsend for me. It's just been just such a blessing to be able to tune into these, keep singing. So just, something positive that's come out of all this for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I see Joe O'Connor is on there. I just see his concertina, but I bet you he's on. Lovely.
He was in late this time. What time do you call this, Joe O'Connor? He's probably off enjoying himself in the sun.
That's
or something
right.
like that.
Well, time to get a gin and tonic. Back in a sec.
Lynn, are you out in the garden? Lynn, are you out in the garden?
Alice, I think that's a photograph.
Oh. I can't see. My glasses, I'm too far away from the computer.
Well, there's your answer, Alice.
Ha, Chris. Thanks. There she is. Maybe she was out in the garden.
Okay, folks, we will get her going again. Thank you so much for bearing with us during the break. But we shall waste no time. We're going to go down. I wonder if we will have as much excuse to complain about the heat here in Ireland when we hear from our next singer, who is calling all the way from Australia in the very wee hours of the morning, Beck Sweeney. Beck, I'm going to ask to unmute you. How are you?
Yes. How are you? Hello. Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday here and it's 8 degrees in Melbourne, Australia. So, yeah. And you're right. I had to start. This session starts at 5:30 in the morning. So it's for the keen. But as other people were saying, the singing sessions during lockdowns have been a source of soul sharing and connection that's been cut off from other forms of community. So it's been a saving grace. And this song's from Calm Sands. The first time I met my love was on a Monday morning, and the second time I saw him was a Tuesday afternoon. When he kissed me on a Wednesday, I couldn't wait till Thursday. Oh, but I can tell you now, my dears, Thursday never came. 7 days are in a week in almost every circumstance, and 4 seasons in a year, at least that's what we learned at school. But never count your chickens when you're dealing with an Irishman. Oh, many a wise woman fell asleep and's wakened up a fool. My love, he took the winter time and turned it into springtime. I never thought that love could change the world this much before. I gave my heart and in return he offered me the summertime. Oh, but I can tell you now, my dears, summer never came. 7 days are in a week in almost every circumstance, and 4 seasons in a year, at least that's what we learned at school. But never count your chickens when you're dealing with an Irishman. Oh, many a wise woman fell asleep and's wakened up a fool. Sinead.
Fabulous. Thanks so much. And we tell you, the dedication you show to getting up that early in the morning, it does not go unappreciated. Thanks so much, Beck. Okay, we will move over now to Mr. Eamon O'Flynn. Eamon, I have asked to unmute you. We have you. How are you, Eamon?
Very well, at this beautiful weather.
Yeah.
I'll sing Sunshine of Your Smile and give it a go. Near facing the home, the sweeter smile for me. Were you not mine, how dark this world would be. I'd know no light above that could replace none's radiant sunshine in your dear, dear face. Give me your smile, the love light in your eye. Life will not hold no fairer paradise. Give me the right to love you all while. My love forever, oh sunshine of your smile. Shadows may fall across the land and sea. Sunshine from out this world may hidden be. But I shall see no light upon the sun. Your love will light my life till life is done. Give me your smile, the love light in your eye. Life will not hold a fairer paradise. Give me the right to love you all the while. My love forever, oh sunshine of your smile.
And a fabulous finish to boot. Thanks so much, Eamon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move over to sunny California now and hear from Pamela Reinigal. Pamela, I've asked to unmute you.
Very good. Thank you for calling me.
No problem.
Such a wonderful session. I'm going to sing a song I learned from the singing of Dick Gaughan. Oh, the provost's fair daughter was walking alone. Oh, but her love it was easily won. When she heard a Scots prisoner making his moan. Aye, and she was the flower of Northumberland. He said, oh, if a lassie would marry with me. Oh, but her love it was easily won. I would make her a lady of high degree, if she'd loose me from my prison so strong. So it's she's done her duty in her father's good stock. Oh, but her love it was easily won, and she's stolen the best key to many's the brave lock. And she's loosed him from his prison so strong. And it's she's done her duty in her father's good stable. Oh, but her love it was easy won. And she's stolen the best horse that was both fleet and able, for to carry them both to bonny Scotland. But when they crossed the border, he turned and he said, oh, but your love, it was easily won. Get you down from this horse, you're a brazen-faced whore, although you're the flower of Northumberland. Oh, it's cook in your kitchen I surely must be. Oh, but my love, it was easily won. For I dare not go home to my own country, where I was the flower of Northumberland. Well, as cook in my kitchen you never could be. Oh, but your love, it was easy won. For my lady would never have servants like thee. You'll have to go home to Northumberland. For it's I have a wife in my own country. Oh, but your love, it was easy won. I can't do a thing with a lassie like thee. You'll have to go home to Northumberland. But then he's taken pity on this lassie so young, although her love it was easily won. And he's hired an old horse and he's hired an old man to carry her safe to Northumberland. And when she got there, her father did frown and said, "Oh, but your love, it was easily won to run off with a Scotsman when you're barely 16. And you were the flower of Northumberland." And when her mother came in, her mother did smile and said, "Oh, but your love, it was easily won. But you're not the first girl a Scotsman beguiled, and you're welcome back home to Northumberland. You will not want bread and you will not want wine, although your love it was easily won. You won't lack the silver to get you a man, and you're still the fair flower of Northumberland." Jenny.
Those roguish Scotsmen. Thank you very much for that, Pamela. And ladies out there, be warned. Be warned. They're all the same. Okay. Thanks so much. Okay, I sent a message to Edmund Duffy, who I'd love to hear from. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Edmund, I'll ask to unmute you, and you can let us know if you're primed and ready. Is Edmund with us? Going once, going twice. I don't think he's there. I wonder, Joe O'Connor, would you be primed for one to go? I think so. I'll ask to unmute you, Joe.
There we go.
How are you, Joe?
I'm not too bad now, Dara.
I can imagine it's been a rare day in West Clare today.
It has indeed. It has indeed. Never knew there were so many people who lived in Ireland. And they're all in West Clare today.
Of course.
Now, this one is the Ballad of the Tinker's Daughter by Ingerson Clifford. He wrote it in 1955. Not to be confused with Mickey McConnell's great song, The Tinkerman's Daughter, the Red-Headed Anne. The story is similar, but the lyrics are completely different. I'll omit a couple of the earlier verses because it's very long and I don't want to keep you here all night. Anyway. When rooks ripped home at eventide and trees pegged shadows to the ground, the tinkers came to Cartonbridge and camped beside a famine mound. With long-eared ass and bony horse and blue-wheeled cart and caravan, and she the fairest of them all, the daughter of the Tinker clan. The sun flamed in her red hair, and in her eyes danced stars of mirth. Her body held a willow's grace, her feet scarce touched the springing earth. A farmer going by the road to tend his cattle in the byre, he spied her like some fairy queen between the river and the fire. Her beauty filled his brooding blood, her magic mounted in his head. He stole her from her Tinker clan, and on the morrow they were wed. And when the sunlight swamped the hills, and bird songs drowned the river's bells, the Tinkers quenched their hazel fires and climbed the pallid road to Kells. She watched them go, she watched them fade and vanish in the yellow furs. A cold wind blew across the sun and silenced all the singing birds. She watched the months run on and on. She watched the river fret and foam. At white of dawn, the rooster called. At dim of dusk, the cows came home. She stole out from her sleeping man and fled the house that tied her down. Her face was towards the rising sun. Her back was to the tired town. She climbed the pallid road to Kells, against the hill, against the wind. In Glen Bay of the mountain streams, she came among her Tinker kine. They bedded her between the wheels, and there her son was born. She heard the tinker women's praise before she died that morn. The years flew by like frightened birds that spill a feather and are gone. The farmer walked his wheatful fields and made the tinkers travel on. No more they camped by Catham Bridge or coaxed their fires to fragrant flame. They saw him with his dog and gun. They spat and cursed his name. But when May hid the hawthorn trees, with stars she stole from out the skies, there came a barefoot tinker lad with red, red hair and laughing eyes. He left the road. He crossed the field. The farmer shot him in the side. The smile went from his twisting lips. He told his name and died. That evening, when the neighbors came, they found the boy laid on the floor. They saw the father swinging dead between the window and the door. They placed the boy upon the cart. They cut the swaying farmer down. They swear a tinker woman came with them all the way to town. The sun flamed in her red, red hair, and in her eyes danced stars of mirth. Her body held the willow's grace. Her feet scarce touched the springing air. They buried them in Keel Varnog, and eyes were moist and lips were wan. But when the mound was patted down, the tinker maid was gone. This happened long before my time. I only speak with borrowed words, but that's how the story goes in Ivrahog of the singing birds. Sinead.
Oh my, Joe, that was just stirring, beautiful. I mean, you never usually put a foot wrong, but that was exceptional. Among your many great performances, that was wonderful. Thanks so much. Okay, we shall go back over the Atlantic again, this time to hear from Nora Rhodes. Nora, I shall ask to unmute you.
Hello.
How are you, Nora?
Well, thank you. And thanks for asking me.
Anytime.
All right, well, I brought Bridget O'Malley, which I learned from a recording of June Tabor. So, yeah, I hope you like this. Oh, Bridget O'Malley, you have left my heart shaken with a hopeless desolation. I'll have you to know it's the wonders of admiration your quiet face has taken, and your beauty will haunt me wherever I go. White moon above the pale sands, the stars above the thorn tree are cold beside my darling, but no purer than she. I gaze upon the cold moon till the stars sink in the warm sea. But the eyes of my darling are never My Sunday it is weary, my Sunday it is grey now. My heart is a cold thing, my heart is a stone. All joy is dead within me, my life has gone away now. Another has taken my love for his own. The day it is approaching when we were to be married, but it's rather I would die than live only to grieve. So I'll meet you, my darling, where the sun sets o'er the barley, and I'll wait for you there on the road to Dunsleeve. Oh, Bridget O'Malley, you have left my heart shaken with a hopeless desolation. I'll have you to know it's the wonders of admiration your quiet face has taken, and your beauty will haunt me wherever I go. Thank you.
Fabulous, Nora. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. I sent a message to our assistant helper in chief, Deirdre Nivahuna, who's looking after Call this evening, to sing the next song. I'm not sure if she saw it, but I'll ask to unmute and to start video, and I would love to get a song from Deirdre as well. There she is. We have her. You can sing, Deirdre. Don't be bashful. You've sung plenty of time for us before.
Well, I'd love to sing, but maybe right not this minute.
Maybe
We're
not.
doing some readjustments on a set for
Okay.
Cathal.
Well,
Like, I have an idea of maybe later, just after he's done his set. Would that be all right?
That's fine. That's fine. I had asked Jennifer Mannion if she would sing as well, so maybe we'll just get her up now, and we'll hear from you a little later on. Don't worry, you're not getting off that easy, Deirdre.
Gurmil Magad.
Okay, Jennifer, I'm going to ask to meet you. How are you, Jennifer?
Oh, hello everyone. I'm well, thank you so much. This is the first time I've dropped into this, so I'm coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You are most welcome.
Oh my gosh! So I'll just say, as I told you, I'm a lover of song, and I am not a singer. And Nora, no one can follow you, so thank you. But I'll sing a song. This is a song of Sarah Makem, Mrs. Makem. And I heard from a class that I was taking with Dahi Spruill, who is here in St. Paul, Minnesota. So this is I Courted a Wee Girl. I have to read it. I'm so nervous.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. Well, I courted a wee girl for many's the long day, and I slighted all others that came in my way. And well, she rewarded me to the last day, for she's gone to get wed to another. Another, she's gone to get wed to another. For the bride and bride's party to church they did go, and the bride she went foremost, she bore the best show. And I followed after with a heart full of woe, for to see my love wed to another. Another, to see my love wed to another. Then the bride and bride's party in church they did stand, gold rings on her fingers, her love by the hand. And the man she is wed to has houses and land. He may have her since I couldn't gain her. Gain her. He may have her since I couldn't gain her. And the first time I saw her, she was all dressed in white. And the more I gazed on her, she dazzled my sight. I lifted my cap and I bade her good night. Adieu to our false-hearted lovers, our lovers. Adieu to our false-hearted lovers. Then the next time I saw her, she was leaving down neat. I sat down beside her, not a bite could I eat, for I thought my love's company far better than meat, since love was the cause of my ruin. Ruin, since love was the cause of my ruin. So dig me a grave and dig it down deep, and strew it all over with a red rose so sweet, and lay me down silent no more for to weep, for love was the cause of my ruin. Ruin, for love was the cause of my ruin. Thank you.
Fabulous, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us, and you're welcome any other time. And I regret to inform you, Jennifer, you sound a bit like a singer to me. I don't know. You might be one now. You might have reached the point of no return. No, honestly, that was really lovely, and you'd be most welcome to join us anytime again. Thanks so much for that. Okay, well, it seems like we have come around to the time again to hear from our esteemed guest, the great Cathal McConnell. There is no one in frame at this very second, but perhaps there will be. There we go, someone lumbering in. I'm going to ask to unmute. And if we can be unmuted, we shall recommence. I've asked to unmute, Deirdre. Can you get him unmuted there? We can't hear you, Cathal. We need to grab Deirdre to get you unmuted if she's nearby. There she is.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, loud and clear.
Hello,
everybody.
Okay, we're here. Well, it's been a great pleasure. I'm kind of not used to this discipline now, but I'd like to say hello to my family, Mickey and his wife Maura, and all my Cormac and Annette, and my older brother Cormac and Annette, and all my various nephews and all that sort of type of thing. Anyway, I'm away past my bedtime now. Okay. This is a song. Years and years ago, we used to, when we were young men, we used to play in the old people's home, and it wasn't a very interesting gig because a lot of people were very old and infirm. And but with this time we were playing in there, and I suppose we were singing at that time. We were singing a lot of my late brother Sean and Mickey and myself. We're singing a lot of Clancy Brothers songs and Dubliner songs. But there was a wee man there, and who was good, and we were clued up enough to know that he was, and he sang some nice songs, and this is one of them. There's a man called Hugh Lee from a place called Acklamad in County Fermanagh, and I suppose one of the reasons is I love the tune of this song, and it has an interesting title. It's called The Illustrious Sons of Erin's Isle. And my good friend George Stuff gave me a print of a picture which was called The Illustrious Sons of Erin's Isle. And I'll sing you the song. Hold on for a wee second. One pleasant summer's morning, my mind being free from grief and care, whilst on a bank of shamrocks I sat a while to take the air. A maiden clad in green and gold, her bloom and beauty with a smile, stepped up and asked me who are those who gain son's fame for Erin's Isle. I pondered in amazement, the question being a serious one, and I gazed upon her dancing eyes that sparkled in the morning sun. Are you the maid of Erin? I am, she answered with a smile, for I always love to hear of those illustrious sons of Erin's Isle. Pray tell me if you're able, who came that day at Clontarf too, who came that day at Fontenoy, was he a son of Erin's too? When ruin and desolation our fertile country overrun, who called emancipation, oh say was he an Irishman? Then 'twas a son of Erin's who gained that day at Clontarf too, a man of noble parentage, those ancient foes he did subdue. And were it not for Irishmen, the French would surely have to fly. For with brave Sarsfield by their side, they gained that day at Fontenoy. Think on those noble heroes who have departed from our shore, Bull, Grotton, Bork and Davent, with Tongue, Lorn, Edward and Tomur. Young Emmet taken in his prime, the three Manchester martyrs then, young Allen, Larkin and O'Brien, three noble-hearted Irishmen. Oh, madam, pray have patience, for if you'll only wait a while, I mean to tell you plainly, against on swim for Erin's Isle. That's from the late Julie. He sang lots of songs. I hate Savalma, Granuel, Del Candish Night, and lots of great man. And that's that one. Anyway, so we'll move on. Let me think for a minute. I'm going to sing a song now, which come from my father, Sandy McConnell, and it's a song called Carol Bawn. It's a song from the 1798 time, which was a terrible time in Ireland. And I remember singing it down in Wexford in 1998, which is the 200th anniversary of the 1798. And I was singing it to Paddy Berry, and they already knew the song. They had different versions of it, and they got me to sing it. And I said, God, that's a very sad song. And he says, it is, and it's also a true song. He says, this young man who died, it's a young woman lamenting the loss of her true love. He says, this young woman who lost her true love, it's a true story. He says, I could take it to the grave, but it was 2 or 3 in the morning. And we had a drink at the time, so we weren't going anywhere. That was the end of that story. Caravan. It's a lovely old song. I'll just have a wee drink here before I sing the song. And it goes like this. Was in the town of Wexford, they built the gallows high, and in the town of Wexford, they sentenced him to die. And there one summer's morning, when beamed the gentle dawn, was on that coursed gibbet they hung my Carol Bawn. Oh, he was true and loyal, oh, he was fresh and fair, and only 19 summers shone on his golden hair. I watched him to the Hallor, him and his company, and from the rising hillside he waved goodbye to me. They met the Saxon foemen by slaying his glancing wave, but brutal force or power, the noble and the brave, and in the flight that followed that day of misery, cruelly wounded he was taken by Carol Bawn McCree. No fairer girl that ever I saw that dreadful sight. His locks all damply hanging, his cheeks so deadly white. No wonder that my Orborn locks have turned from dark to grey, as if the blessed hand of God had taken my life away. The meadow path is lonely now, the hearth is cold and still. The daisies in yon graveyard grow softly over him, and I am weary waiting for the cameras coming on, when I will be united with my own sweet Carol Bond. Now I'd like to ask Deirdre McMahon to come in here, because an Irish word there to explain to the people.
What do you need to hear that? I don't remember.
Muferio.
Yeah. I was just I've forgotten the context now.
Muferio Dare.
Ferrer Munir. I think Dara would be better for that one. It's really just an explanation of my destruction. Don't you think?
What? Okay, whatever you're having yourself. Now, maybe we should have a bit of my brother Mickey. I hope, Mickey, you're listening. Maybe you're not listening. I'm afraid of you, Mickey, because you're a very critical man. Mickey is in my opinion, I shouldn't say it's one brother to another. Mickey was mine. I think he's one of the best songwriters, and a very clever man. He wrote a song, The Flat Hole, that was held at Whit Weekend, and Whit Weekend is a movable feast. And Mickey wrote a song which reflected the flat hole, all that happened on it. And Mickey and I attended these flat holes, and I remember them, and the early ones were great because, we used to go into these places and play music, and there was a lot of music played on the street at that time as well, but an interesting thing I remember in the early days, I remember playing music, and my dad was there at the time looking after us, and all the people were buying Mickey and I whiskies, oh, give the young lad, give the young lad a whiskey. I wasn't drinking at the time, but my dad was, so I gave the whiskies to my dad, and eventually my dad couldn't handle the whiskies anymore. She was handing them out to other members in the crowd, and this explains the early flat holes, and Mickey's done a great job. Thank you very much, Mickey. And here goes. There's not much you can say except sing it. You might have heard the song before. If you haven't, you'll be hearing it for the first time. Here goes. Listen to this. When weekend is here, I'll take it a bit higher. Dun, dun. When weekend is here, so to give us good cheer, let's go to the Flat Hole of Heron. So hang up your phone, let the dog starve at home. Come on to the Flat Hole of Heron. Each year it is held in a different town. It's part of the fun to go traveling around. So put on your coat and for a boil we'll be bound. Come on to the Flat Hole of Heron. Well, the crack starts up right on a Saturday night when you're down at the Flat Hole of Heron. As you sing on the street with a crowd at your feet, sure you're part of the Flat Hole of Heron. With luck you might meet a wee lassie from Clare who'd like to be taught how to play the guitar. So put your arm round her, but don't go too far when you're down at the Flat Hole of Heron. If a man wants a wife, it's the chance of his life, way down at the Flat Hole of Heron. But there's all types of creeds, old lasses and breeds, of girls at the Flacul na Heron. There are them that are hateful and them that are nice, and some that are terribly prim and precise. But no time at all, you've a hell of a choice way down at the Flacul na Heron. There's more. If a man wants a jar, he need not go too far, way down at the Flacul na Heron. For they never run out of whiskey and stout, way down at the Flacul na Heron. The townspeople seem very anxious to please, and most of the places serve dinners and teas, and sleeping is free in the Kelly Marquis, way down at the Flacul na Heron. Now on Monday we meet to go and compete, way down at the Flacul na Heron. And the judges can't rest till they pick out the best, way down at the Flacul na Heron. That night a big concert is held in the hall, and the artists that play are the best of them all. Well, the anthem does play, and the curtain does fall. It's goodbye to the Flacul na Heron. Well, they say some still play the following day after the Flacul na Heron, and the fiddler you'll meet as you go down the street. He was part of the Flacul na Heron. But where people once drank, there is now broken glass, and where dancers once danced, there is now trampled grass. So let's drink a toast to the fly we love most, 'twas Boyle and the Flacul na Heron. So thank you, Mickey. You've done a great job. It very well explains the whole thing. Right. Now, is it time to wrap up this?
You have plenty of time, Cathal. So
Oh no.
You could do two more, Cathal.
two more
Oh,
would
right.
be perfect.
So you have loads of choices. You were going to end with Aaron Green. What would you do before that? You've got.
I might do the
Beauty
book.
Book
I
Special.
might do the book. Beauty book.
Yeah, great.
Our father was certainly a great influence on our musical life. Our father, Sandy, he was a lovely man. He was a very complex man indeed. I'm not complex, I'm simple, you know. Did you get that, did you? And I think he's a very intelligent man, but this is a story which prefixes this rather complicated song. My dad moved into business in 1924, which is almost 100 years ago. He had a wee shop, you know, selling, you know, tea and bread and butter and sugar and all that sort of stuff. And paraffin oil, kerosene as you call it in America. And he was very friendly with this man, and he used to go around at that time, you know, we're talking almost 100 years ago. And he had a great friend that he was very friendly with, and this man used to, he was a great character, and I think sang and played a bit and all that, but women were very attracted to him because he was a good looking guy. And one day he come in to my dad, and there's no names, no pact drill here, you know, because that's personal matter. He says, Sandy, that was my father's name. He says, I've got a problem. I've got two women who are in love with me. One woman has got, her family has got a lot of money, and the other one doesn't. Now, my father knew the woman who didn't have a lot of money. She was a very beautiful girl, apparently, from a musical family. He said, I don't know what to do. And my father wasn't too sure what to do. And this man made a chilling decision, he says. He says, what I'm going to do, he says, I'm going to toss a coin, and whatever comes up, heads or tail, I'm going to marry the person. And he tossed a coin, and the beautiful girl lost. Now, I don't think my dad knew the other woman. And he married the woman that had the money. But make a long story short, the beautiful girl came into my dad and she wept bitterly. And in my dad's presence, she cursed him. And he never had any luck. He died early in life, and I don't know what to say. Everyone lived unhappily ever after, whatever. This is a complex song, and it's called The Beauty and Boast of Us Alone. I better have a drink of this before I start this. There's no chorus in this, so you can't join in. Here goes. Dear nymphs and ye twins, sympathize in my sorrow, and pity a fair maid that's sorely oppressed. For since Cupid first stung me with his killing arrow, my mind is tormented, I can't find a rest. I am early repining and constantly sighing for a handsome hero that's very well known. For since Adam's creation, you'll find in no nation a youth like young Edward, the boast of Athlone. In spring, when the small birds they all join together, they charm the green groves and the valleys right rise. The refreshing breezes denotes the mild weather, the violets do spring and the primrose rejoice. 'Twas in that very season a young man was pleasing, his charm and affection unto me made known. I vow and declare my heart did ensnare, did young Edward the beauty, the boast of Athlone. As I happened to stray by the clear river Shannon, where I first saw my Edward going out for a stroll, he saluted me most kindly, crying, dearest Mary Machen, I hope I can escort you to the Stark City Road. I hope you won't refuse me. I pray do excuse me. These words he repeated in a soft mellow tone. I been fully bent on my course straight I went with young Edward the beauty and boast of Athlone. While I courted my Edward for better than 3 years, the most modest young fellow that ever drew breath, until a comrade of mine on us did discover, and soon put an end to our joy and our mirth. She told his aged mother how we went together, and to have him banished away from his home. It's in grief I now related, the job they have completed. They've banished young Edward the boast of Athlone. Ah, but since he is gone, may kind fortune shine on him and keep him from all harm wherever that he goes. May Providence protect him and angels to guard him until he's safe landed on the far distant shore. And may that unhappy girl who banished my pearl, may she feel her remorse in her last day and moan. Likewise his aged mother, who took delight forever to vanish young Edward, the boast of Athlone. Is there anybody in Athlone listening? Right, Dara, how am I doing?
You're doing fabulous, Cathal. I tell you, give us one more, you'd be right for the road.
Well, one more will suit me just fine. Well, we'll try and do this. This is a song I learned from. It's a very well-known song in a tradition, and I have to say to you, Dara, thank you very much for having me, because it's very kind of you. This is a song that everybody knows, but I've got a different version of it, and because everybody has recorded it widely, I decided to leave it alone. But it's a song that I learned from the singing of a man called Arthur Carney in 1965. That's a long time ago. And there's two different versions. The two verses of the song is different from the regular verses. It's a song called Carrick Fergus, and this particular song makes reference to Achill in different places. And Arthur Carney lived in Achill in the 1920s, and it mentions in the song a woman called Bridgeen Vasey. There's a song in a tradition called Bridgeen Vasey, which was recorded by the great singer from Galway, Dolly McMahon, who was married to Kieran McNahuna, and Bridgeen Vasey is a song in the Irish language. And I think perhaps this song might have come from Achill originally. So I'll sing it, my version of Carrick Fergus. Would you like to hear it? But I can sing it. I can sing a different one. And then I'll finish off with this. I'd like to say thank you very much. It's been a wonderful experience. I'm not used to this medium. And as I say, I'm way past my bedtime. Anyway, here goes. Dara, this is for you. And I think very few people would know this song. Okay. Carrick Fergus. Hold on a second. Here goes. I wish I had you in Carrick Fergus, Elfin or Achill or Amor. For you I'd swim o'er the deepest ocean, I would cross o'er. But the water is wide, I cannot cross over, nor neither have I the wings to fly. I wish I'd find me a handsome boatman who ferry me over to my love and I. Then night was dark and the sky uneasy. The mighty ocean was tossed and wild. When my own true love, sweet Bridging Vesey, she crossed the ocean and left me behind. Left me behind for to count my losses and see my darling in every glass. How sweet is living, but yet I'm crying. How long the dark night it takes to pass. But in Kilkenny it is reporting on marble stones there as black as ink, with gold and silver I would support her. I'll sing no more till I get a drink, for I'm often drunk, but I'm seldom sober. A handsome lover from town to town, but I'm sick now and my day is over. All you young men, and I lay me down.
Absolutely mighty call. Thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you,
us
Dara.
this
Flattery
evening.
is going to get you everywhere.
It's been a total pleasure, but I should flatter one more person. The fantastic dear Geneva Huna has been instrumental in putting this evening together. And
Yeah,
if I could be so bold as to ask her to give us a song before the window closes up for the evening.
I'll remove myself from this window. Thank you, Dara.
You are most welcome, Cathal. You were a treat.
Thank you.
So, do I get the hot seat now? Wasn't that great? I just feel very proud to be working with Cathal. I think that he's worth every minute of it. Thank you, Cathal. Gurmagat. So I was thinking it would be really lovely to do the End of the Night song from the Cayleys. I know that Lynn will recognize this. I'm sure she sings it a lot herself. And it's a little bit throwaway, but it's still very beautiful. And it was written by one of the poets on Mull, Sorry Lev, this Eichevalev, which is what I'll be saying after this now. It's been a wee bit of work tonight, but very enjoyable. And thank you so much, Macdara, for suggesting it. It's really great. I'm sure Cathal will do more of this now. That's the very, very first time that he has done an online gig. And right, you're on your markers now, Cathal. No. We're going to be expecting more from you.
Dara, can I say something to you? This online gig is a tough one, you know. And this chick Murray joke, when he got all his teeth out in one day, and he says, never again.
Okay, so this goes. Sorry, Lev, say spiano Cleve, Guiam slancha gravi mare, spiano Cleve, Hanya in Ruishka smuai maar niet door calag, and all of you who know it, sorry lebe seiche valet, eiche valet, spianochle, goyam slanchach navi maret, eiche valet, spianochle. And Lynn just saying she has 6 verses. Okay, Lynn, over to you. Go on. No, she's not.
You're not serious?
Do it.
All right. Okay, I'll have to sing that one again. No. Sorry, levis eiche vale, eiche vale, pianoch leif, guyam slanchak nari marev, eiche vale, pianoch leif, skugum kria pangan oren, catcher sola shoigri shain, I chuck you Lion Micah, son a savi conny lave, sorry lave is eichia valave, eichia valave pianoch lave, guyam slancha canary marev, eichia valave pianoch lave. Maharush and Toperiarush, kein Jashin Shabrina Loin, Zvekla, o Arag Meinchin, nur Veram Naglinam Chain. Sorry, Levis, Eichia Valev, Eichia Valev, Pianoch Lev. Guyam slanchak nari marev, eiche vare pianoch leif, grian halaya noch milchen, leisham boy bin a foim saranye, stombis kein na vor halinchin, Ishes gai goroshin karahin, sorry leves eiche valev, eiche valev pianoch lev, guyam slanchak nari marev, eiche valev pianoch lev, Aster kion hajion eskarek, Gurok dai van banet einj, Gleana gaga pianok, Eichia valev pianok leiv, Sorry leiv is eichia valev, Eichia valev pianok leiv, Guyam slancha gnari marev, Eichia valev pianoch leiv. Huchan kranes al-karach, komashut hamayas lein, bishin bio and dochas rova, Eichia valev pianoch leiv. Sorry leiv is eichia valev, eichia valev pianoch leiv, Guyam slancha canari marev, eichia valev pianoch leiv. Shine.
Fabulous stuff, Deirdre, and thanks so much, Lynn, for finishing us off there. Well, Speaking of finishing off, we have just one more singer to hear from tonight before we do say good evening. Just want to say the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre folks will post in the Zoom chat and in the Facebook chat. We say this every month. If you're out there and these sessions mean something to you and you could spare a few quid to support an independent art centre like the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre to help pay for things like this and the other great work they do, please consider dropping a couple of quid if you can. Once again, only if you haven't been too badly affected by this pandemic, as it's ripped through everybody at this stage. But yeah, if you have it to spare, please consider doing so. Please also keep up to date with the Seamus Ennis Centre website at the various events they have going on. I believe they're actually trying some in-person events soon enough in an outdoor safe capacity. So yeah, keep an eye on all that good stuff. And yes, I will hand it over to Julie Hennigan to give us the last song of the night. Julie, I've asked to unmute you. How are you, Julie?
Oh, hi. Hi, Cathal. Oops. Let's see, am I unmuted?
You're unmuted, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, Cathal's given me a few songs in the past and really fine ones, and I think this is my favorite. And I'm going to give it a try. It's been raining cats and dogs and various amphibious creatures, and I think they're getting in my throat, so we'll see how it goes. And this is one Cathal told me he got from a singer named Marie McEntee, if that's correct, Cathal. It's called The Cavan Road. One evening fair to take the air, alone I chanced to stray. In silent meditation to Coothill I took my way. It was there I spied a charming girl near to her own abode, and this charmer fair I do declare lived on the Cavan Road. I said, fair maid, why have you strayed so lonely on your way? Some rude young man might you trepan and would lead you quite astray. The day is hot, we'll have a chat together as we roam, and we'll talk about our own true love along the Cavan Road. My parents, they'll be angry at me making so free. Your parents won't be angry, for this is destiny. For it was ordained all by the Lord this meeting to fulfill. Therefore I say, make no delay, leave lovely sweet Coothill. This fair one then made answer, and this to me did say, you might be acting falsely, my virtue to betray. And as I am but very young, I must have my parents' will, and before that I get their consent, I cannot leave Coothill. It was early the next morning, to her father's house we went, and after some conversation, they gave us their consent. We joined our hands in wedlock bands with a free heart and goodwill, and now she's in America, left lovely sweet Coothill. And now she's in America, with her true love doing well. And she has money at her command, the truth to you I'll tell. She drinks a health To all young men who by true love are controlled, and to a grey, lovely brown-haired girl along the Cavan Road.
A mighty stirring song to finish the evening. Thanks so much, Julie, and to everybody who has joined us tonight. But perhaps before we say a complete good night, maybe let's hear it one more time for Mr. Cathal McConnell.
Oh, great.
And
Hold on. My hope.